Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello. Hi. Welcome to the Port Charles 411. Today we are talking about Ethan Lovett because he is back. And a lot of people don't know who he is.
Oh my God, it blows my mind.
Yeah. Aw. He debuted 16 days after my first date with my husband.
Aw.
May 29th, 2009.
You remember.
Oh, wait, it was established.
All kinds of dates.
Well, so our anniversary is May 21st. I actually wanted the week before, so that was actually the anniversary of our first date, but it wasn't available. So I went with that.
Okay.
It wasn't just I wanted it. It was like, hey, look, that's really cool. And it just wasn't available. So went with the next week. So he was debuted in January 2009. I'm sorry. Oh, it was established that he was Luke and Holly's son.
Yes.
Never mind. Ignore that. So he was originally portrayed by Nathan Parsons and is now being portrayed by James Ryan, who has only said like 3 words at this time. So we're going to give him some time. So Ethan is introduced in January 2009, attempting to burglarize the Haunted Star Casino. And we talked all about the Haunted Star being a casino in our episode about the Haunted Star. So go find that. Owner Luke Spencer catches him and the two become acquainted. The Australian Ethan, that was something though, he definitely has still the Australian accent.
Yes.
Explains that he knows thief and con artist Holly Sutton, a former flame of Luke's, and had actually come to town seeking Luke. Ethan reveals that he had never known his biological parents and that his adoptive parents had died when he was 15. He had subsequently run off and met Holly in his travels. Ethan secretly carries a photo of Luke and his longtime friend, Robert Scorpio, who had been married to Holly. Luke and his wife, Tracy Quartermain, suspect that Holly is in fact Ethan's mother. That one's usually not questioned.
Right, right.
Sorry. And that Luke may be his father. A DNA test on May 7th, 2009 confirms that Luke and Ethan are not father and son, but Luke suspects that Tracy may have altered the paternity test.
She would never.
No, Tracy would never do anything like that. Holly returns, confirming that she is Ethan's mother and initially revealing that Robert is his father on May 22nd, 2009. After Robert's daughter Robin tells Ethan that Robert was in Port Charles and not with Holly when Ethan would have been conceived. Holly confessed to Luke on May 29th that Ethan is in fact his son. On June 5th, 2009, Ethan is revealed to be conspiring and romantically involved with Rebecca Shaw, a newly arrived lookalike of deceased Emily Quartermain.
Ugh.
In October, Ethan begins a flirtatious relationship with Sonny Corinthos' 17-year-old daughter, Kristina Corinthos Davis. Johnny Zaccara later approaches him in an attempt to ruin Sonny's life for killing his sister Claudia Zaccara. In March 2010, Ethan rebuffs Kristina's sexual advances. After Kristina is beaten by her boyfriend Kiefer, Kristina shifts the blame onto Ethan, making him a target for Sonny. Ethan is then harassed by Kristina's father, Sonny Corinthos, mother Alexis Davis, and sister Sam McCall, and ostracized by most of the city. Ethan is only stopped from leaving town at this point by Luke's insistence that he wait for Lucky and Dante to investigate Kristina's story, because this is when Lucky was detective.
Mm-hmm.
Around this time, Ethan is hired by Johnny as a mob lieutenant for the Zaccara organization, which Luke and Lucky are not so proud of. Eventually, however, Kiefer is outed as the one who attacked Kristina, and Ethan is cleared of all the charges and given a clean slate. In November 2010, Luke pleads with Tracy to remarry him after she discovers their marriage was a scam.
This was all so good.
I know. She tells him that she will only marry him if they get a prenup. Instead, Luke asks if they can go to Las Vegas, planning on getting drunk getting her drunk, and marrying her. She agrees, but Ethan and Maya must come along as chaperones. While in Vegas, Luke dares Tracy to keep up with him on the alcohol, but Ethan and Maya snatch some of the drinks for them, guzzling them in the process. They call Reverend Grace to marry Luke and Tracy, but through a mix-up, Maya and Ethan get married instead. They plan on getting an annulment, but when Luke and Tracy are out looking for a lawyer, the newlyweds consummate their marriage. The lawyer explains if they were drunk when they got married, they can still go through with the annulment, but they decide not to. The four return to the Quartermaine mansion, and Edward offers the couple $1 million to stay married for 1 year. Ethan immediately agrees, but Maya is hesitant. He eventually persuades her, saying that she will have more than enough money to pay off her student loans, and to help her sister Zoe.
$1 million? Could you imagine? Sure, I'll take that. For a year?
Yeah.
It's like nothing.
You already decided not
to annul
divorce,
it.
so
right. Heck yeah.
See how long you can go.
So 2011 to 12, Ethan and Maya's marriage begins to turn real as they get to know one another. When Maya goes out of town on a business trip, the relationship starts to deteriorate just as quickly as it grew. Ethan decides to go visit Maya in Philadelphia because she has been out of town on business for weeks. However, when he arrives, he finds Maya in bed with another man. Maya admits that she's been lying to him for a while and has no plans to return to Port Charles. They thanked each other for the time they shared and parted amicably as friends.
Well, it was nice being married to you.
Exactly.
Handshake?
I'll let you get back in bed. Goodbye.
Right.
Ethan later flew down to the Dominican Republic to obtain a divorce. After Ethan and Maya's divorce, Kristina sets her sights back on Ethan and even accompanies him down to the Dominican Republic to get a divorce. However, Kristina's parents continue to disapprove of Kristina's crush on Ethan. They even misinterpret Kristina and Ethan's trip to the Dominican and rush down there to stop them, believing that they took the trip to get married instead of Ethan's getting divorced. Kristina's father, Sonny, continually warns Ethan to stay away from Kristina and threatens his life on numerous occasions. But Ethan remains defiant and maintains that he and Kristina can be friends if they want. His actions were notable, but did nothing to stop Kristina's crush on him. Kristina later invites Ethan to the lake house under the guise of planning a trip abroad for a college class. She creates a romantic setting, flirts with him, and ultimately ends the night with kissing him. Still, Ethan resisted her advances, maintaining that their age difference was too much and her crush was just a phase. Not fazed by Ethan's protest, she continues to pursue him, much to the annoyance of Ethan. Kristina manages to manufacture situations to purposely run into him. However, one night when she's really in danger and being accosted by mobster Anthony Zaccara, she is saved by Ethan, which only makes her crush on him grow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, if some boy saves you.
Yeah.
Desperate to find a way to get Kristina to back off, Ethan begins plotting with Michael Corinthos and Abby Harver to find a way to get Kristina interested in people her own age. Their plan involved Ethan feigning interest in Abby in order to get Kristina to back off. Kristina, however, was not and continued to make excuses to see Ethan. Again,
she's persistent.
She's a young girl with a crush.
Dedicated woman.
Yeah. It's not easy to make her change her mind. Ethan eventually erupts and verbally lays into Kristina about her skewed perceptions of the two of them together and the impossible position she has put him in with her father, Sonny, and Anthony Zaccara. Kristina, while taken aback, is nonetheless determined to prove that Ethan does in fact care about her. She would go so far as to approach Johnny Zaccara, Ethan's employer, with the request that he fires Ethan in an attempt to get him out of harm's way. Shortly thereafter, Sonny and Alexis pull some strings to get Kristina into Yale. At Kristina's going away party, Ethan and Kristina share a goodbye, and Ethan encourages Kristina to give her new life and the guys at Yale a chance.
I like that. I mean, that was I've lived a little bit longer than you.
Yes.
You think that you want this now. Go. Find what.
But of course she was going to fall for him because she went through that whole apologizing for blaming him for the stuff that Kiefer did. And he was so nice about, you were in an abusive relationship. You were scared. I understand. Like, how could you not have fallen for him?
Right.
Ethan becomes interested in a portrait at Wyndemere of Lucky and Lulu's mother, Laura Spencer, that he found in the Wyndemere castle. One day, while he is at Wyndemere examining the portrait, he is knocked unconscious by Irina Cassadine. He awakens to Helena with a knife, and they speak briefly, before she leaves her knife with him and makes her departure. She warns Ethan that Wyndemere is haunted, and that he should stay away from Spoon Island, which only served to further intrigue him.
Go listen to our 411s all about Spoon Island,
You're
Wyndemere
right.
Castle. Yeah,
and again,
there's some messed up stories there.
he's a young guy, and you're telling him, you shouldn't be here because it's way too spooky. He's Luke's son.
Right.
And Holly's son. He is going to want to investigate.
Yeah.
Ethan leaves with Laura's portrait to get it repaired. Later, before returning the portrait, he takes it by Lucky's, who also warns him to stay away from Wyndemere and Spoon Island. But Ethan keeps returning and finding mysterious objects, as well as secret passageways. He even starts to talk with Laura's portrait as if it was real. He soon realizes that he is not alone and discovers a young woman named Cassandra who was living in Wyndemere with him. At first, Cassandra would not speak to him, but over time, Ethan got her to open up. They began talking more and soon became lovers. I can't say it as good as you can. Ethan later finds out that Cassandra suffered from memory loss and was being treated by Dr. Ewan Keenan. After spending a couple months together, Ethan and Cassandra make plans to run away together. However, their plans are stopped by Irina Cassadine. Of course they are. Helena takes Luke and Ethan captive and reveals that Cassandra was actually Irina Cassadine, her secret daughter that she had kept captive on her island in Greece. Irina had not suffered from memory loss, but instead was ordered by Helena to make Ethan fall in love with her and then kill him.
Oh.
However, Irina's feelings for Ethan were real, and she had actually fallen for him. Helena ordered Irina to shoot Ethan for revenge because he is Luke's son, and Luke was the one who killed her beloved sons, Stavros and Stefan. Irina instead turned the gun on her mother, Helena. The gun, however, was empty, and the exercise a test of Irina's loyalty. Since she failed, Helena had her evil henchman kill Irina right in front of Ethan.
How do you kill your own daughter?
I'm killing you because you didn't listen.
I forgot all about all of this. 2011 and 12? Maybe I wasn't watching as much as I thought
Don't say that.
As I thought I was. That was the year I got married in 2011.
So you're saying you had better things to do than watch General Hospital? I don't think so.
I don't know. I guess that was obviously a short amount of time.
Yes.
So
yes.
Just kind of forgot about her.
Understandable. She died in a heartbroken Ethan's arms. Helena then orders Ethan to be killed, but she is stopped when Ethan's mother, Holly Sutton, runs into the room and tells her that killing Ethan would gain her nothing because Ethan was really Robert Scorpio's son. Helena does not believe her at first, but runs a DNA test on Ethan and Luke and leaves them for the time being until the results are final. That's a little crazy because I feel like Helena could rush those results, but okay.
Right.
When Helena is gone, Holly reveals that she had lied to save Ethan and that Luke really is Ethan's father.
I remember all of that, though. Why don't I remember this girl?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot to remember everything.
I mean, maybe just a little.
Do you remember that?
I remember it vaguely, but it wouldn't have stuck out. Later, Luke finds Robert Scorpio devastated over the death of his daughter, Robin, about to jump off a bridge. In an effort to take his best friend and give him a purpose to continue living, Luke lies to Robert. Yes.
So maybe that's why. It's like that was
big.
I see that scene in my head right now.
So Luke lies to Robert by telling him that Ethan is Robert's son, not his. Luke also tells him that Helena has taken Ethan captive and he needs to be rescued immediately. Shortly after, at Luke's request, Ethan decides to leave town and disappear for a while to keep the lie believable for Robert's sake. Luke convinces Holly to go along with the plan by telling her that Ethan's out of town and that he would be free from Helena's grasps. Reluctantly, all three of them agree that Ethan leaving is the best solution, even though Holly still has some hesitations. On March 7th, Ethan says goodbye to his parents and leaves through the library's secret passageway that leads to the underground tunnels off Spoon Island. Then Robert and Holly quickly leave town in pursuit of their, air quotes, son Ethan and his supposed captor Helena.
Okay, I remember so much of that. It just must have been the Luke Roberts stuff maybe just shadowed it.
That was a big storyline.
Yeah. Because that was the footbridge, right? Like Robert was getting ready to jump off the footbridge.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke Spencer, 2013 to 15, Luke Spencer and Laura Spencer arrive in the stateroom of the Haunted Star trying to find their daughter, Lulu Spencer, who they believed has been kidnapped by Helena. They find a masked person who is revealed to be not Lulu, but Ethan. After greeting them, Ethan explains that he had been staying at Lucky's flat in Dublin when Helena showed up, intending to capture Lucky, who is in Africa, and kidnapping Ethan instead. During this conversation, Luke, Laura, and Ethan are locked in the room. Helena later decides that Laura must shoot either Ethan or Luke, both reminders of her husband's affair, in return for her own life and information on Lulu's whereabouts. But Laura refuses to do so and passes the gun to Luke. Ethan and Laura shield each other from the ensuing shootout, which results in the death of Helena and her guards. That's not what killed Helena. Luke becomes worried that the gunfire triggered an alarm for Cassadine reinforcements and urges a reluctant Ethan to act as a decoy. Ethan agrees and leaves. Yeah. That is when he left, but that was the goodbye to Luke.
Right.
Okay. On January 30th, 2014, Robert Scorpio tells Anna that he is leaving Port Charles to help Holly Sutton get Ethan out of some trouble. And then on June 29th, 2015, it is revealed by Holly that Ethan has been kidnapped. On July 2nd, how many times has he been kidnapped?
All the time.
On July 2nd, Luke arrives in a Vancouver warehouse to find... That was not the goodbye. That was the 50th anniversary. Luke's goodbye was 2015.
Okay.
On July 2nd. Yep. Okay. Luke arrives in a warehouse. This is what I'm thinking when I was reading that, because Ethan does just leave, but we'll get to that in 2 seconds. Sorry. Ethan was forced to put his foot on a pressure bomb, and if he moved, the bomb would detonate. Luke manages to disable the bomb and rescue Ethan, but the guards walk in and hold the 2 hostages at gunpoint alongside Laura, Holly, Lulu, and Dylan. The kidnapper, this is what I was thinking about, yep. The kidnapper is revealed to be a not-so-dead Frank Smith, who has a grudge against Luke and Laura. Frank threatens to shoot someone, and Ethan ends up with a bullet in his arm. Afterwards, everyone but Luke and Laura are let go, and Holly takes Ethan to the hospital as Luke kills Frank to save his loved ones. That is what I was thinking, because I'm like, yeah, he did just kind of leave.
That was so good.
Can't talk about it.
That was so good.
It was a really good ending.
Yes. All right. 2020. On September 17th, 2020, Ethan made an appearance at the Le Lucien Casino in Monte Carlo. He first encountered Olivia Quartermain at the blackjack table and told her that he was following up on a lead on his mom. When Robert arrived, he punched him to create a diversion. The guards at the casino tied them both up and left them in a back room. They were able to break free, but were then held at gunpoint by Winston Rudge and his men. After Robert, Olivia, and Ethan were on the plane home, Ethan turned down an offer to come to Port Charles. He said he had a date in Antigua. That was so good.
That was really
with Robert
unexpected, because he was supposed to be like a high roller, right? Like,
yeah,
he was.
Ugh, love it.
Yes,
love it. Ethan, love it.
Look at what you did.
Look at that.
In 2022, when his father, Luke Spencer, was killed in a cable car accident, presumably in December 21.
There's air quotes all over that sentence.
Tracy comes to Laura's house after midnight on New Year's Eve to deliver the tragic news. A special memorial for Luke, was held on the Haunted Star in January of 2022. According to Laura, Lucky and Ethan are unable to attend due to there being a cholera outbreak in the village where Lucky is volunteering. Lucky attending the Haunted Star Memorial would have required him to quarantine in Africa for a 2-week period. However, given that maybe that was how they brought in COVID.
Okay. Maybe.
However, given that Tracy hosted the memorial at the Haunted Star, Tracy will host a second memorial in Amsterdam, which both Lucky and Ethan will be able to attend. On November 21st, Holly revealed to Robert that Victor has been blackmailing her into doing his bidding. After Holly confessed that she shot Lucy Coe with a rubber bullet while impersonating Anna Devane, she revealed that Victor can't know that she told him the truth because Ethan went back to the casino and was kidnapped. He was being held hostage by Victor's men to keep Holly in line. So he's been being kidnapped now for 6 months, just about.
Okay, that also brings up the question, though, of wouldn't Victor's men have known that Ethan was Holly's son? When she walked into that room, wouldn't they have been like, yeah, no, you can't do this bidding because you're trying to save your son?
I feel like he disposes of his people because even this past week, he was like, you walked onto this ship, but you can be carried out.
All right. I guess that's an easy way to make sure no one remembers anything. You just clear out every 3 months.
Oh, okay. Eventually, Victor sent Holly to retrieve a $35 million necklace, threatening to kill Ethan if she failed, and the WSB gets to it before she does. Holly, drugging Robert in the process, that's quotes too, acquired the briefcase, it should be quotes, acquired the briefcase containing the necklace. But when the PCPD was made aware of Robert being drugged and Holly being his assailant, an APB is put out on Holly and she is tracked to a cabin where Robert and Felicia are set up an elaborate ruse for Holly to escape by having her lit on fire and burned to the extent where Holly would need to be transported to a burn center in a foreign country. And yet, her makeup was on point.
Absolutely.
This was set up for her to be free not only of police custody, but also of Victor's control. Victor is furious when he learns that the necklace was supposedly destroyed in the cabin fire and Holly had been neutralized. On April 17, 2023, after Felicia Scorpio reunited with Holly in Venezuela, they went to the Venezuelan Cassadine compound where an auction was being held. After Felicia managed to get herself and Holly in to be a part of the auction, the men working for Victor brought a man with a hood on his head into the room. The men said that whoever wins would get the chance to end the man's life. The men pulled off the hood, and Holly and Felicia were shocked to see it was Ethan.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, I mean, we don't even have enough time to go through all his files. He has been beaten up and been in many fights and threatened and almost killed and shot a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the...
I hope that the new Ethan is as good as the old Ethan. I'm going to give him the chance, but I hope so because I love Ethan. The storyline is so good.
It's at first with the whole, we're bringing in another kid that we didn't know about, and the timeline doesn't add up, but he fit in.
He did. He made it work.
Yeah, so I thought it would go a little bit longer, but that's the lowdown on Ethan. I like it.
I like it too.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yay.
So join us on Monday as we recap this week's shows. Maybe we'll see what Ethan's up to.
And have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.